welcome everyone, everywhere, to the fifth Insight with phenomenal Laura Lee Mystica, co-author of Cryogenetics 2, with her co-author Hal, who's her cosmic guide and helper, who loves to eat popcorn and drink root beer, even though, as far as I know, he's never been lived on this, this planet, but well, so he loves to do that as he watches the exciting unfolding of the shift show on and around Earth right now. So I'd like to introduce our two amazing topics for this show. First, Laura Lee will briefly discuss Chapter 20 in Cryogenetics 2, entitled The Trick Trap of the Light. And secondly, more on why, since the 2021 winter solstice, we all will no longer get tripped up by that trap. What has taken place is so epically important and astounding, it boggles the mind, or more accurately, as you'll see, it unboggles the mind. So, and if we have time, we'll talk about something hot off the press about the inner beast, or also called the rage implant, that it turns out affects 80% of the people. So hopefully we'll get to that as well. So Laura Lee, take her away into these mostly off-planet topics.
Oh, thank you. This topic of the trick and the trap of the light has been something that's been really a passion for me, because it has been so entrapping to so many people. And when I wrote Cryogenetics 1, I talked about white light versus clear light. And you have to, and it explains in there how with clear light, you can see through it. It's like putting varathane over a wall. You can see the graffiti over it. If you paint it, you can't see it. But if you put varathane over it, you can see it. It paints it, but you can see what's behind it. And what happened after I had written Cryogenetics 1 back in 2014, I talked about uncorrupted white light, but I needed to change that to uncorrupted clear light and use that to embed it and lock it into your DNA and magnetic fields. Now, before I had changed that and I realized that things can hide behind white light, I was just sick inside. And so thank goodness I had only gotten a few books out. I think I only had like 10 or 15 out. So I had to like rewrite it, reword that part so that I wouldn't be a part of the trick of the light. I was so appalled by that whole thing that I just, I didn't care what it would cost. You know, even if I had a bunch of books out there, I would have recalled them and given people the new one. And so I was, again, when I started investigating this, I was just horrified that I might have unknowingly been trapping people in the light by sending them to the light for over 2 decades. And doing this with Ronnie, my Ghostbuster partner, and I was also concerned that some of her angels that she was working with and some of the beings that I was collaborating with were perhaps maybe prison guards disguised as helpers and part of this whole entrapment system. So I just went through some internal anguish for a long time trying to figure this out. And then finally, I said, Hal, you got to help me here. What's going on? And he said that our behinds had been covered because we were using the cryogenetics eggs, and they knew where to take the ghosts, so they would not get entrapped by the light. And there's a lot more information out now. At the time, there wasn't that much. Everybody said, oh, go to the light, But in cryogenetics too, it gives a lot of counter information that it's a trap. And a lot of people are very concerned about their relatives and even themselves. I've had many people come to me and they say, well, how will I know? And I tell them, just keep an egg around you all the time, and when you cross, the egg will help you get through the traps. Now, I don't know how many of you have seen this, but the link to this is in cryogenetics too, and it talks about and it's perfect. Yeah, I mean, this so perfect says it. There's a Star Trek episode where Captain Janeway was visited by what she thought was her father. Well, come to find out, it wasn't her father, and she was just kind of half dead. And there was this alien that was posing as her father, trying to get her to go into this light. And she was kind of hem-hawing around, and then she's like, there's something that's not quite right about this. And then this alien being that was posing as her father started getting angry with her because she wouldn't come with him into what he called his matrix. And at the very end, then he tried to threaten her to go in there. And the last thing she said was, go to hell, coward. I'm never gonna go in there. And so it's worth watching that. And the link is in cryogenetics too. And it is so accurate for how people are getting duped into going to other matrices and then getting sent back to Earth and feeling guilty for things that they didn't do. There's a lot of that's another way that they trick you. They say, oh, you didn't quite do this right, so why don't you go back and try to fix it? And they just keep you internally coming back. And a lot of times those bad things weren't things that you did, it was things that they did. The beings that were trying to tell you to come back. And so it can become an eternal loop that you can't get out of unless you somehow get the memo that it's all a scam. And one thing that that kind of let me see a little bit better about this is when right after 9/11, I got the memo at the same time Ronnie, my Ghostbuster partner, did, that there was we needed to help the ghosts cross that were in the Twin Towers. And it's interesting because I got it in the morning and she got it in the morning at the same time, and I smelled roses or flowers or something. And this was like, in September, there weren't like blooming roses at that time. And that's what kind of alerted me to that, okay, we need to do something. Well, when we sat down and started looking at it, we both saw the net over the Twin Towers. And we thought, well, that's weird. And it was like an electromagnetic net. And what it was doing is keeping the spirits held there and looping and reliving their death over and over and over again, and they couldn't get out. And there were helpers, some were authentic angels, on the other side to try to help them, um, but nobody could get through, and the angels couldn't get in, and neither could my helpers. It's like nobody could get through this net. So what we did is I said, okay, I've got an idea. I said, let's put a whole bunch of cryogenetics eggs down here, and we'll help all the ghosts get in these eggs. And there were thousands of them. And then the eggs, once an egg had 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or however many it could hold people in it, it would, travel up and it would get through this net. Now, as far as I know, there was nothing else that could get through this net. So, then, and it's interesting because there were, I said to Ronnie, Ronnie, I'm seeing fish. There's fish. So apparently there was a lot of aquariums there. We saw some animals. There was cats and dogs. I don't know if they were people's pets that they brought to work. I don't know where the cats and dogs came from, but there was many different animals that were in there too, but a lot of fish. Well, then at the very end, and this is really kind of a heartwarming story. Hold on a second. I'm getting real thirsty. I got to get some water. Hold on. At the very end, the very last people that were getting into the egg pods were the first responders. And I watched them as one of them got in, and then he held his hand out for one of his buddies, and they were helping each other in. They were just trashed and tired, but they were the last ones. They wanted to make sure everybody else was out before they left. They were truly honorable people doing their jobs and making sure everybody was safe before they themselves went into the egg and were pretty much airlifted out and through that net. And so, that for people that might have had somebody, a relative or something, that was a part of that whole mass destruction, and worried and stuff, they got through. If they were in there, they got through. And so that was the first experience that we had seen. Then we saw another one of these nets that was, God, it's been a long time ago. I think it was after Hurricane Katrina that we found another net like that. And I've seen some of these nets, like a lot of, one time when I was in Vegas, I saw one of these nets that was harnessing all of the porn and loosh energy from the casinos. And I'm like, man, that that is so weird, but it still makes sense. So they use these nets a lot. I mean, this is probably one of their standard protocols. So when then on this is really funny. On December the 20th, I got this unexpected memo or instructions, and it said, reprogram the net around the planet and take it to 0, so like totally neutralize it, and then reprogram it to, instead of wiping people's memories when they go through it, that they have total recall when they die. And I thought, what a marvelous idea. Sure. So what I did is I got a team together. I got Tesla and Zealok, his brother, and Cryon, and some other very, very adept helpers to help me with this. and now it runs on its own, or actually our AI, and it can't be hacked. And while I was doing this, there were two HRT. Oh, excuse me. Hold on a second. I got to get some more water. Hold on. For people that know me, when I start running like psychic energy, it makes me really, really thirsty. Um, so what I was getting is that there were two people that I know of, and actually 15 of our HRT that have crossed over and passed through that net already. And many did not know that they were HRT, but they do now. So it's starting, it's working. And then all these people um, that have been dying recently will get total recall of the deep state control and the mind control and all the corruption of church and state. Plus they'll start getting awareness and understanding of the truth of this holographic universe. So it's going to totally mess up the Dark Lord's game plan. I mean, this is not what this is. This is really going to throw a wrench in their system. And like I say, this has only been going on for like a month. This hasn't been all that long. And then there were myself and then two other top, well, I'll call them powerhouse beings that after we neutralized this net and then um, reversed it so that it gives recall instead of wipes your memory, then we formed this triad around the planet, and with the rocks on the poles, the north and the south poles, um, started broadcasting truth and justice to all life forms on and in the planet. So not only did it help the people that were crossing over and leaving the planet, but all the ones on the planet, it was helping to bring truth and justice. And then um, and then we put popcorn gas and batship fumes um, clouding the planet. And so people will start regaining their sense of humor. And I've noticed this, and um, it seems like more people are waking up. Look at how the amount of people that have woken up since the 20th of December, like a lot in the last month, like a lot. And powerhouse people, people that are influencers, are going, oh, holy crap, I've been duped, and shifting their resources to exposing the truth now. And it's just amazing to me. So then with 50 of our HRT home team members helping on this project, we are now totally taking them to the cleaners. And when this is really funny, when the Dark Lords try to fix the net, it makes it worse and uh, cause things to go south for them really bad, because it's our AI that's running it, and it learns and adjusts. It's like everything they try to do, our AI goes in and goes, oh, okay, well, we know how to turn the tables on that one. And I really feel like our spy versus spy birdies are connected into this too. Now, anyway, they weren't in the beginning because they hadn't been released yet. And it was interesting because usually when I do this kind of work, I'm really trashed after. But when I started feeling the energy of all of this truth coming out, and the nets doing the opposite of what they've been doing, I just felt awesome, and I started to laugh inside and out. And maybe that's because of the popcorn gas, but it was just just amazing. I just, for days I was high. I just like, all right, we're we're getting there, we're getting there. And I know a lot of the HRT members were feeling the same way. It was, I know you were feeling that way too, Nancy, when you found out about this.
Oh yeah.
So, so yeah. Do you have any comments or anything on what I've said so far?
Just it's mind-boggling how absolutely phenomenal this is, and it's only tomorrow is 2 months since it happened. But before that, from basically the beginning of time, people would die. They go to the light, and then they'd have their minds wiped. They'd have amnesia in this screening, and they'd wind up back here on Earth. They didn't have free choice to do anything else. It was round a roundabout imprisoning system.
Exactly.
Which and it's not in effect anymore. I mean, that's
Yeah, it's really throwing
five
a.
words. I'm speechless.
I know. It's really throwing a wrench in their gears. I tell you what, it's and I don't think they ever thought anybody. Well, for one thing, since they wipe our minds, we shouldn't even know what's going on. So just the fact that we know, and then the fact that we could actually do something with the help of people that like Tesla and Zeolock and Cryon that actually know, you know, what the heck's going on and how to alter it. Now, what's interesting about this is that a lot of this stuff they cannot do without our help. It's part of how it's working right now. It may not be that all way all the time, but they need boots on the ground to get stuff done. If they could just do it from outside the hologram or from wherever it is that they stand, they would do it, but they can't. That's why all of our people that are here on the planet are so valuable or extremely valuable, and the more we can wake ourselves up, the more value we'll have, because they need us to do these operations that they can't do by themselves. And so, that's why when I got that memo, I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. Oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. I'll help you with that. It's like they have to give us these memos so that we can do these undercover operations. And, thank goodness there's so many of us out there that have the skills to do this. Because without that, we'd just still be looping, coming back and having a life and then feeling guilty and coming back and having another life. And, you know, what is there to learn? You don't learn. And the new age um, propaganda that, oh, you did something wrong in a past life and now you're coming back to rectify it, and you should be grateful to come back and rectify your wrongs. Well, most of the time that's a bunch of hockey pock. Okay, it just is. It's many times it wasn't stuff that you did, it was something that somebody else did to trick you into coming back. And the thing is, if you don't remember what you did, if they just tell you and you don't remember, you know I've always thought, what kind of crap is karma if you don't remember what you did? The whole,
Yeah.
you know, that is not the way karma works. Karma doesn't go, well, I'll tell you what you did, but if you can't remember it, if you just have to go on what somebody said, oh, you were an evil king in a past life, and so you're coming back to rectify that. Well, if you don't remember it, or worse still, if if they put false memories in your head or make you believe that you were an evil king when that wasn't really you at all, that was somebody else. And I've seen that happen. I've seen these cryptos say, oh, well, you were a real evil person, and you killed me in a past life, and I was just an innocent child, and so now you're going to have to rectify that, when the truth is they were the evil king and the innocent child was the one that they were talking to. And that just really gets me gets me going, because the cryptos
What do
are
you think
notorious for that
of
crap.
that,
Yeah.
Orly? What do you think the purpose
Of what?
of the entrapment, the constant merry-go-round of entrapment.
To keep the loosh machine going. If we were
Mm,
smart and we never came back, they wouldn't have any slaves to do their work and then to suck up their loosh. And yeah, I mean, we're hot commodities to them. And if we started waking up and weren't going to come back and weren't believing in their lies and traps and said, no, I'm not doing that, I'm going somewhere else. You've heard that Earth is a prison planet, and it
yes,
is. It's like beautiful and awesome, but also it's like evil, nasty. It's like I would say one of the worst places in the universe. And there's a lot of bad places, but look what we've got here. We've got places like, oh, the astral realms are here, and we've got all these creepy, nasty places it's all happening on planet Earth. It's like whatever you want, it's here. Good, the bad, and the ugly, it's all here. And it brings me back to what I've said before. True balance is not a balance of good and evil. True balance is the absence of evil. And we really need to get on that bandwagon and not believe that we have to have evil, because that is another major trap that they are putting us in, all these booby traps. And so yeah, I can just really get off on this. It really gets me charged up
it,
because it's so despicable. I mean, these guys are so
it is.
despicable.
Do you think we'll ever be able to retrieve our memories that were stolen from us, our long-term memories,
I do.
who we really were?
I do, and it's starting to happen. And it, like I said, it's only been a couple of months since this net was um, rewired, and so I do think that we will, and we are. With the people I've talked to, more people are getting more conscious awareness. And I think maybe on our next show, we can talk about some of the things that we've been doing in our HRT group to um, be more conscious and to get the subconscious and to not be the head honcho, the leader, the dictator. And I think that will be maybe something for our next show, because we have personal information um, and history on things that have happened with our HRT team in getting our our conscious mind to be the one in charge, and the subconscious to be the subservient and to be the helper instead of instead of the one that um, is the dictator. And we'll talk about how there was a little programming going on our subconscious minds, and um, we'll talk about that in the next one, because it's a real interesting, to say the least, story. So we'll
Right.
write that one down for next time. So, do you have
Well,
any questions or anything before we?
well, I was looking over our notes from 2 months ago, and I just want to tell our listeners that people that have died of COVID, it seems we all know someone, that they, to rest assured and feel good that they will get total recall of the deep state they've gone through. So don't worry that they're tripped up again. They anyway, that's just
No,
in the
exactly.
notes here.
And that's a real relief to a lot of the people that are
Yes,
awake, that their relatives um, pretty much died in vain. And once they're waking up, I mean, it's the end game for the Dark Lords. If everybody starts waking up and gets their recall and they can't schmooze us anymore, their game's over. So this is like really cool, exciting stuff, I think. And I'm just so grateful to all of our hologram rescue team members that are diligently working on this. I mean, they're working on it, 24/7. They never rest, and I'm really grateful to have an association with them, and all of the cosmic cleanup crew. Their cosmic cleanup crew is really, really stepping up. I am seeing so many of them just, it's like, okay, ready for duty. What, let's get on this. They're very, very vigilant, and you can see that with all the wave of the truckers that are out there. They are stepping up, and it's really exciting. I know there's a lot of um, challenges, but look at how far we've come. These are really exciting times, and we're holding our own. I tell you what, and
Yeah.
there's things
Do
behind
you
this.
want to give a shout out to our allies? I just counted them today. 65.
Oh,
Some of them,
awesome!
like this spy versus spy birdie, there's 3,000 just in that one entry. I'm saying 65 different ones, and among them, like the bees, there's some of them are countless. So things are turning the corner.
Yes, it is. Well, maybe we can talk about our allies next time too, because it's a really when you feel down and like, oh man, I don't know who to turn to. Um, this this list of our allies is amazing, and we're always updating it. We got a few new ones just in this last week, so just know we are not alone. We have got some of the most
Right.
badass allies that you could ever dream of. So maybe let's
Seems
talk
like
about.
they're champing at the bit to be asked.
They are, and that's the thing too. There many of them can't just step in and help you out. You have to ask them, and so don't feel timid. When you go through that list in the cryogenics book of our allies, don't feel timid. It's like, oh man, maybe they're too busy. Well, if they're too busy, they will find somebody to help you. They won't go, no, I'm too busy. Call somebody else. Click. They don't do that. Okay.
Right. I just like to say there have been so many new ones just since the book went out. The last ally we had was Justin. It's kind of funny because he was just in time getting in.
Yes, exactly.
But we've had so many since then that maybe you could put something up that has all of them or the new ones, or just I have an alphabetical list, and then you can look up the others with more information, just so you know what we have. Then, when you know what you have, then you know to call on them,
Exactly.
learn more.
That list
Yeah.
is like your telephone book, where you go down the down the list. Who you gonna call, So yeah, we'll try to get that together. We'll try to get our new allies up there, and maybe we can get that in a PDF file for everybody.
Yeah, pretty much ready to go.
Alrighty. Well, this has been
Yeah.
awesome. This has been like an awesome insights number 5.
Yes.
So, alrighty. Well, I guess that's it for this time. So tune in next time. Oh, and I wanted to say, I have been putting the video "No More Lies" as bumper music, and also at the very end to give people. I know a lot of you have seen it, and you don't have to, keep watching it if you don't want to. But I put it at the end just to give you a little spark and some confirmation that we're all in this together, and to encourage you. And so just want you to know that that's why I'm keeping it, at least for right now, no more lies at the end, to just give you a little lift at the end of all of our talks.
Okay.
So
So I guess we're out of time, pretty much.
yeah, we're out of time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks like we won't have time to talk about the implant that was just discovered less than a day ago that 80% have that I mentioned. But just knowing that you might have it, go ahead and do your tea strainer, and with awareness of it, so that the tea strainer can get it out. Because
Well, we will tell more about that. I think they need more background on that. But yeah, go ahead and do your tea strainers, and then we'll give you a really fun, exciting story about what happened. And
okay,
you guys are gonna love it. So tune in next week, okay? Same bat time,
yeah.
same bat
So let's
channel.
just thank everyone for listening, and to join me in grateful hallelujahs for Hal, Tryon Tesla, and his twin brother Zealoc, who were, along with Laura Lee and her team, extremely instrumental in getting that net disassembled. So, yeah, they just a shout out of thanks to everyone for their astounding work on all our behalf.
That's right.
And for bringing us into a future of newfound freedoms that, we're just beginning to be amazed by. Please watch for our next Insight interview as we move onward and forward with Laura Lee.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. And remember everybody, to do your rocking and to do your gratitudes. That will help give you a lift to take you out of the doldrums when you start feeling like you're overwhelmed. So do that, and we'll see you next time. Okay, goodbye, everybody.
Bye now.